Leave that in the background for all folks.
Very professional stuff. This is where I'm going to tell you to welcome to. Oh, I didn't even think that worked, did it? I didn't even do it right. You know what? I want this to work awesome. So, but did it work? I don't even know. I guess we'll find out if it worked. It works. It worked. Anyway, welcome to Cnfl Live. I am here. I am LD Mario DL28. I am here with my co-host. We call him nowadays Scony Nation 7, but I'll always forever call him Michael 1807 or just Michael for short. Michael, how's it going today?
Pretty good, Mario. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. How was your first day of Madden free? Well, not free trial, but $5, $30, whatever you want to call it, trial going.
It went pretty well. I played a couple of games late last night. Haven't got on yet today, but I got a couple of games in last night against Grim and Beg.
And how'd you do? I assume you won them both because
no,
that damn good, right?
1-1. Grim actually came back, beat me in the first game. I was up 24-6 at halftime, and beat me 28-24.
Well, then go Grim. I was checking my phone, making sure that people can see the show. Want to make sure that we are live. So this year, one of the great new additions we have to CNFL is the GroupMe app that I'm sure most of you guys have been using. And if some of you guys haven't been using, you really need to get on the ball and start using it because this app is definitely pretty incredible. I mean, I know some people probably are still looking for us on the regular chat. I know Mike has noticed that. But Mike, I think this GroupMe app is a big hit so far.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's easier to use for cell phone usage. I mean, I could always get on the chat from my iPhone, but it was a pain to try and type and then send your message and then try and read. Because you can only see about 3 lines at a time. So yeah, this is nice. We got to get Aiden up to speed. He keeps popping in the CNFL chat just all by himself over there. But yeah, this thing's great, and the only thing I hate is it just kills battery life. I mean, this thing is a drain on my battery. I sit there and read that thing open for about 30 minutes, and I lose about 25%.
Wow, and you have an iPhone?
Yeah.
Man, I mean, well, how many other apps do you have going on at the same time?
None usually.
Jeez.
It's just
I guess you're right. I just had it charging, and I'm already down to 92%.
Yeah. I mean, you leave that thing open for 25 straight minutes in chat, you'll lose about 20% of your battery.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I guess if you're sitting there and actually looking at it constantly and not powering off the phone or anything like that, I have it set up that it has like a banner, right, that will pop up over here with what people are saying. So then I can just easily hit the middle button on my phone and I can see kind of an overview of what people have been saying. So, but I mean, you could also shut notifications off. I think one of the big things with the app is having the notifications on. I mean, I don't know about you. I'm trying to do stuff on my phone, and I have the banner coming up at the top, and the banner shows up, where I'm trying to type things in. Like if I'm trying to type in a web address, all of a sudden the banner comes up, and it's like Wong saying trade me your firstborn, and then I can't do anything. So once in a while I shut the notifications off, especially if you're going out
And I'm
and
not sure if you can see
preparing to
mine on
die.
here, but what mine does is it gets this little this little red bubble right here of how many new messages have been typed since the last time I was on, and
And
I'll be at
how many
work.
is it right now?
It's a 20 right now, and I'll be at work, and I'll come out for break, and there'll be like I think earlier today was like 162, 162 or something like that. I'm like, I got to work at 9 a.m. and I had to drop something off at the Chamber of Commerce at like 10, and I leave, and in the hour, I think there was like 82 messages. I was like, you guys are freaking crazy, man. Y'all are just, I don't get it. I don't get sounds, I don't get vibrations, I don't get banners. All I do is get those little bubbles. So,
Well, I mean, could you imagine if you had sounds on here? And God, I recommend anybody in CNFL who's using this application, do not use sounds because I'm sure it'll probably drive you crazy. I have, I have some Twitter feeds that I follow that I have sent via text message to my cell phone just to keep track of fantasy sports stuff. And forget it. During NBA season, I'll have my cell phone will be chiming every like half a second because Joe Schmo decided he has a cold and he can't play today. So I can imagine having your text messages plus having the CNFL app chiming. I'd probably chuck my phone out a window.
yeah.
So Madden 15. I mean, fine. We're getting a little bit of a taste of it. I played Fiend last night. I liked it. We're getting a little bit of taste of it. Like how fired up compared to previous Maddens, compared to previous openings of CNFL. Do you feel like you are, and you think the rest of the community is?
I mean, I'm definitely excited for the Xbox One. The graphics are by far 10 times better than they ever were on 360, so that's probably 100 times better. Who knows? But I mean, obviously every time you get a new system, you get new power. And I think everybody else is pretty excited, especially for those that really don't have an Xbox One yet or didn't play Madden 25 on Xbox One. This is going to be a huge, just leap in progression of the way the game plays, the mechanics, the running. There's actually momentum for players and stuff like that. For people who didn't really play at Madden 25 on the Xbox One, there's definitely going to be a learning curve. But I'm definitely very excited to get into the season because I definitely think CNFL on 360 was the last couple of seasons just it's kind of like we were going through the motions or something like that. So I think the new system, the new game, I'm interested to see how this progression stuff will work, or practice progression, all that stuff. So I'm definitely ready to get into it once I get more than 6 hours.
I'm very curious to see how you talk about the learning curve, especially for those guys who don't even have an Xbox One yet and didn't play Madden 25, or now they don't have the early access to play a few hours of the game. You wonder how far behind the 8 ball they're going to be coming into this Madden and being able to be competitive that first season.
Yeah, if you haven't played on the Xbox One yet, and the last time you ever played was on the 360, you're well behind. You're very far behind. Just from the stuff that you were able to do and get away with on a 360, just for example, the running game, just being able to hold speed burst and weave around defenders. I mean, you can't do that anymore. You can't just sit there and turn on a dime. There's momentum. There's cuts. There's stuff like that. You're just going to sit there and just run into your own guy, or just not be able to turn up field like you want to. So
that's really been my problem so far. Playing Madden 25. Getting that for the to play that for, I guess, what was it, a couple of weeks that I had that before this early access. I know I haven't been able to get the running down, and it's. I could definitely see some of these guys. You talk about a Greasy who hasn't have yet, Matt who doesn't have yet. It may cause some of those players, even I could even go as far as saying as a Long, when a new system comes out, and I remember this when we switched over from the PlayStation Xbox generations to the next generation, so the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 3, that there was a big learning curve. And I remember maybe some guys who might have been really good at the game all of a sudden now were not as good at the game because they had trouble grasping the new nuances of the of the controls and of the game feel. And I think it's going to be interesting to see which players step up and become better players, because they're going to be players who maybe weren't the best players, maybe weren't the top players, who were going to pick it up. It's going to click for these guys, and they're going to get to the next level, while you may have some other top guys drop down a level. And I think that's going to be very interesting to see. I think that's what makes this world very unpredictable this year.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I definitely think, the people that have the time and put the work in, well, I guess that's not work, but put the hours into the game are going to figure it out. I mean, if you're one of those guys that plays a lot of ranked games or whatever and just plays tons of games, I mean, you're going to get down the game faster than somebody who just picks up to play their CNFL game. So, and it is interesting, too, because, with the new system this year for the franchise, there's not practice mode anymore. So you can't sit in there and just, quit out, play a full game, quit out against the computer, play a full game. You actually have to, scrim against people or play ranked games or just unranked games against random opponents. I definitely feel if you played Madden 25 on Xbox One, you have a huge advantage if you did not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think you're right. You talk about how there's no practice, but I think one of the interesting things that EA is introducing this time around is they got rid of practice mode for the franchise, but they're bringing us back the drills. And I don't know about you, but back in the day playing Madden, I used to love the drills. When you had Madden and you had him and you would travel from city to city in his bus. I don't know if you remember that, and you would do all the skill training drills, and they were like little mini games, game within the games. And it looks like, from what I can tell, that there are going to be lessons. You're going to be, for instance, if you are trying to progress your quarterback and you're going to do a skill drill, you could do skill drills where it teaches you how to recognize, different coverages, like a cover one, a cover two. So I'm very interested to see. I know players like myself. Obviously, I'm an average player. I'm going to utilize that stuff, and I'm going to help myself learn how to read defenses better using these tools. And I'm curious to see how that also changes things. And look, I'm 36 years old. Okay, my reflexes are not what they used to be when I was in my 20s. In my 20s, I'm sure I would have been a much better Madden player than I am now. But still, there is the mental part of it, and being able to read a defense and to be able to react. We mentioned last night when I was playing Fiend, we got a good laugh. Mike was laughing his ass off while I was playing Fiend because I said I was just looking at one receiver. I was looking down one receiver. I didn't even look at my other option. So maybe these types of these drills will help reinforce me and help reinforce other owners in the league to really remember how to play and also to pick up on new things that they maybe never picked up on before.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I played the skills stuff, and obviously, it does help. When I first picked up Madden, I was really actually, well, I'm not great still, but I mean, I was a terrible user. I would just run around like a chicken with a head cut off, and obviously the drills of going up SWAT and doing strafe picks and stuff like that helped, and the same thing with user catching. When I first started playing, I kind of let the computer do everything besides obviously say hike, throw the ball, and run. So I think the better user skills you have, and the better intelligence you have about what you're seeing on the field, obviously the better you're going to do.
So I know I'm excited. It's a new system. The graphics are incredible. They really stepped up their graphics, and I'm sure that was a big deal for them. They wanted to make sure they stepped up their graphics. How do you feel? Cheats aside at this point on how to cheat the system, the EA early access. How do you feel about how they ended up handling the EA early access?
It's stupid. I mean, I don't understand how you can have the whatever the season ticket it was called on 360, and you get the game 3 days early, and we could play dusk to dawn 3 straight days. But then they come out with this system and they say, oh, 5 days, but then 2 days before the game comes out, they're like, oh, by the way, we're going to limit you to 6 hours. Especially on a sports title where, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to limit playing time. You're not, I mean, yeah, if you don't get the package, yeah, sure, you'd have a direct advantage over anybody who didn't in terms of being able to like play ranked games or build your ultimate team or whatever people do. But I mean, for a non-storyline game where it's, I don't understand it. I can't comprehend, especially if you're a company trying to make money, why wouldn't you just say, okay, every 6 hours is $5 or something like that? People would shell out money. I mean, left and right. Half the league here would spend $100.
You wonder, obviously there's no competition for, the football, and they don't have 2K to worry about, so they can really do whatever they want. But I'm just wondering, okay, you work for EA, all right? You're sitting at the conference table, and whoever the hell is in charge in there, let's call him Schmuckhead, all right? He, he's like, oh, everybody, this is great. We got the Xbox 360. Who cares about the PlayStation? Because we're not even going to worry about those guys. And let's do this early access. We're going to charge people $30. Sir, do you think maybe we should charge less? I think no, $30 for the year, or we can charge them $5 for a month, which I believe would be $60 a year. I think that's a good idea. And what's the biggest game we sell every year? Oh, sir, that's Madden. Oh, yeah, Madden. Oh, my God. Imagine what people would do to play Madden 5 days early. They've been playing it 3 days early. Now they can play it 5 days early. People are going to pay a lot of money for that. People pay lots of money to play Madden early. So, guys, you think that's a good idea? Yeah, that's a great idea. All right, so also, we're going to limit them to 6 hours over 5 days. What does everybody think? Well, nobody wants to get fired, so nobody's going to say it's a dumb idea, but I'm sure everybody thinks it's a terrible idea. All right, but, well, we'll let them play 6 hours because then they're going to be so excited to get the game. Because maybe if they play 5 days straight, they won't want to buy the game because they're not, obviously, they must not be Madden addicts if they're paying for this stupid thing to play it 5 days early, that they're going to buy the damn game anyway. But, let's just screw them and let them play 6 hours in 5 days, which is basically going to get their mouth watering. I'm shocked they're not charging more for the game. I'm shocked they're giving you, I'm really shocked that they're giving you 10% off for the download because that's just not their style. So. How this decision was made, who was behind the decision? It's just an idiotic decision, one of the dumbest things I've ever seen, and it just shows you that EA sucks as a company, and we won't even talk about what they did to NHL, which also, by the way, doesn't have any competition. So what does that mean? That basketball game's going to be amazing because they have to fight with 2K to make the basketball game good? I doubt it. I don't know. I wrote down some things for the franchise, which are going to be different this year. I don't know if you had a chance to watch the live stream. I watched half of it. We joked around about confidence. You think confidence is probably stupid. I think it looks pretty neat. But we got a new player progression this year. Not only do you progress your players using those the skill trainer like we said before, but you could also progress them other ways as well. But what's interesting about the player progression, you're given a certain amount of game hours, like virtual hours, to progress certain players. So players can progress, players' ratings can go up. You can get XP from players who are playing in games. But the really great thing about this system is it kind of puts the emphasis on building up your backups, building up the backups of the skills of your backups that aren't getting into the game and aren't building up the XP as quickly as they possibly could by learning. I mean, what do you think about that as opposed to how it was last year?
Well, I mean, last year, I mean, you did build up your backups because when you did practices, you got 2,000 points for every player, so your backups built up. They got 30,000 free XP a year just by doing practices, which was, eventually your backups would become so good by not even playing that you could just pawn off your starters to somebody, and pretty much everybody had stacked teams by end of season 2, season 3. Um, you know, I like the idea of them making people focus on their backups and stuff like that to create depth on your team, but go hand in hand with that, you need fatigue and you need injuries. Otherwise, what good is depth? I mean, if those guys are never getting into the game, why even worry about them? Shit, play 25 guys and you don't have a problem.
Is there an indication that fatigue and injuries won't happen?
Well, I mean, last year, there was the QB depth chart glitch. If you didn't have 3 quarterbacks on your depth chart, no quarterback ever got hurt. Then there was the, fatigue. You were supposed to have those auto sub things, and that never worked. I don't know. I mean, I played a game last night against Graham. I think I had 4 carries in a row with my halfback, and then my backup came in. So, that's better if that's actually like a consistent trend. If a guy runs the ball usually 4 straight times in real life, he doesn't keep running. You can't do 12 carries in a row down the field with the same guy. But it's just one of those things where it's just got to be implemented well. I do like the hours thing. I think that's kind of a cool idea where, if you play on a Thursday night game during the week, you get less hours than a Sunday and therefore less hours than Monday. That's really a cool system, like depending on where you get scheduled, how many hours you get to use for progressing your players. And I like that not everybody on your team can be progressed each week. I mean, you'll still have the game XP and the season-long XP and goals and shit like that, which is nice. But I like that not everybody gets 2,000 points. I think that's just that was just, I don't know, just a waste because everybody could go up so fast.
So it really makes you as the player have to make the decision of who do I want to progress.
Yeah, I agree. I do hope though that I think it was King that was saying that to progress people got cheaper, which I hope that's not the case. I believe it was Beg that brought it.
But you can progress them, but you progress them slower. I mean, it doesn't really matter.
I don't know if you put all the time though into one guy, or that guy plays really well during the games and he earns a lot of XP. Do I necessarily want, the attributes that matter to be cheaper? No, not really.
Well, I think the other thing that's interesting, and you think that it's not going to end up being that big of a deal, is the confidence rating. That when I was watching the live stream video, it looked like it was actually a pretty big deal. The drops in skill ratings, for these players, if they were confident or not confident. So I think that's going to play more of a role than maybe some people think, and that's going to factor into the whole progressing thing too. Because now, if you have a player who his ratings are dropping because of his confidence level, you're going to have to now build him back up, which costs more hours.
Yeah, I guess my only problem with the confidence is, I believe I was watching one of the videos or something like that, and they said obviously if you're a good team, if you have a good record, if you make the playoffs, confidence takes care of itself.
Right. So the top players aren't going to have the confidence issue. Like maybe myself, if I have a couple of bad games with Jamal Charles is going to become a little wuss and not be confident somehow.
And I kind of feel that's unfair and one-sided. I mean, it's I'm sorry if somebody's playing the game for fun or whatever and just happens to have a couple of 3 and 13 years, do I want all of his players to just hate playing for that team and then he struggles even more? No, I don't. I think that's stupid. I mean, I just think that's a pointless thing to kind of put in an online franchise. Like, let's make it harder on the people who have bad records to get their players to play well. I mean, it's
going to be interesting, to see how it works out. We could speculate how it's going to be, but I think it's going to be an interesting dynamic. Now, you know what I'm excited about. Even though I have taken my commissioner hat off, I threw it away, Begg caught it, and he's running with the league. There still was the issue of commissioners not being around at advance time. And thank you, EA Sports. I just bashed the hell out of you. Now I'm going to thank you for multiple commissioners because, this thing should have been there a couple of years ago. I don't know why it couldn't have been coded in, but it's in there now, and this is going to be a huge help when you can't find the one commissioner and the whole league is sitting here waiting for you to advance. Now we'll finally be able to advance. I think that's gigantic.
Yeah, I think multiple people to advance is nice. It's also nice that, I know you can set people to away for certain times. So, I know Diston's going to be gone the first week, so you can set, gone for 7 days, and then he'll just come back from auto, or maybe it's not days, it's just 3 weeks. If he's going to miss 3 game weeks, it's yeah, it's just you can set that so you don't have to worry about, oh crap, did I not turn him back on, or stuff like that. So that's always nice. Yeah, those are the fine-tuning details that'll they'll make the league easier. That's just something that EA did implement well.
The final thing which I'm excited about, again, I know I'm not going to do it, because I want the full online franchise experience. But I've already heard rumblings that other people are going to do it. I know you're going to do it. And I love the fact that we're going to have random draft classes. You remember last year, at the start of the franchise last year, I put up a post about not being able to use cheat sheets, which obviously, ended up being a false threat pretty much because it was impossible to police. I love the idea of random draft classes, that there is no way, I assume, people are smarter than me, that there's going to be no cheat sheets, random draft classes. Now, look, I know what's going to end up happening. I've heard it already, that people are going to get together and share their knowledge, which I don't understand why you would want to, just for the integrity of the game. But people are going to do it anyway. But just in general, what do you think about the idea that they do have random draft classes this year?
I love the idea that they were random draft classes. It was kind of pointless unless you got a top 5 first-round pick or something like that. You knew who the top 5 players at each position were or whatever. So it's oh yeah, okay, I'm going to take that guy. Or I want to take that guy. I think this is awesome because you might have the best player in the draft fall to the 3rd or 4th round.
You can get a Tom Brady in the 7th round.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. As far as sharing knowledge and stuff like that, I have to say in the NFL, I'm pretty sure there's probably some scouts that are friends that might be hey, what do you think of this player? Yeah, I don't know if it's 40 times fast enough for me, So I'm pretty sure that happened. That's sim, man. That's sim.
Yeah, you may be right. I don't know. That's a great question. You
don't think at the combine in Indianapolis, all those head coaches that are friends are sitting there talking about certain guys?
You think the Hardballs are sharing their knowledge?
Oh, absolutely.
Hey, Jimmy, you don't want to take that guy. He sucks. Trust me, I know. Look at his look at his time. Yeah, this guy sucks. That's what he would say. I think it's great. One of my favorite things to do was scouting. Basically the way I scouted, so I made sure that I got the most use out of my points. For each position, I would take the key attributes you want for that position, and I would unlock the letter grade, because all the letter grades, are basically a range of what the number would be. So, for instance, if I'm looking at running backs, first thing I click is speed, and it comes up with C. I'm done. I'm done checking that guy. I'm going to move on to the next guy. I'll check. Okay, this guy has an A speed. Great. Now I'm going to go and check to see what his trucking is. B. Okay, that sounds about right. It's going to probably be about in the 70s, maybe low 80s. Then I'm going to go, and look at elucid. I'm going to look at vision. These different things, and I'll click and I'll look at just the letter. I think when you're scouting, you're wasting points by looking at the number, because you could pretty much figure it out. Figure it out by the letter, and you can still be able to scout as many players as possible. But you're still, maybe there are some players that don't scout as much, and they see a guy is projected to go, in the 5th round, and you know that guy's probably going to be a stud. Maybe maybe you don't wait till the 5th round to get him because you figure there are other savvy players in the league that are gonna know that guy might actually be a really good player. Here's my concern. All right, and this is I'm not sure. Maybe you've read about it. I don't know. The draft classes are random, but are the player names random?
Yeah.
Is there a first name and a last name, and those are random and they get put together?
It's all random, all of it.
All right, because that'd be my concern. If it wasn't, then you could still say, well, here is Jack English, and we don't know what year he comes out.
The names change, the backstories change, everything changes. They're going to be, according to EA, there's going to be no way to tell who's in what, who's good, what's bad, anything. You're not going to be able to, the heights change, the weights change, the schools change, the names, everything.
Now, it's funny, they mentioned in the live stream that one of the main reasons that they did this was to save themselves time, because they actually had to sit there and create all of these fake players for 30 years of draft classes.
Yeah.
So now this saves them time to not even have to worry about doing that.
If everything's all random, I'm waiting for, I'm sure they have restrictions for each position, but I'm waiting for, the 5'5" quarterback.
Yeah, it's coming. 99 speed quarterback, 99 throw, 99 accuracy, 99 short.
I'm sure they have caps and,
they said, they said that although the players are going to be random, there's nothing going to be super unrealistic about these players. So.
Yeah, I'm sure that they say, okay, for every quarterback, they have to be between 5'10" and 6'7" or something like that. I'm sure there's limitations in there of what they can.
But that being said, I think we've learned in the past that EA probably has some of the worst game testers out there. So I'm sure we'll find out.
Well, last year too, didn't we lose accelerated clock in an update, and then we also lost injuries?
I'm always complaining about the game testers at EA. It seems like they don't test anything. They say, okay, let's just throw it out there because this gives us a reason to give 4 or 5 updates a year because now we got to fix something. So I'm convinced that either they don't have game testers or all their game testers are blind and deaf.
Yeah, accelerated clock didn't work in head-to-head matches in our franchise. Everything gets broken.
You played in any franchises on the one?
Yeah, I did
25?
for about 3 games.
And how was the invites for that? Were they as awful?
They're just as bad as unranked. You have to sit there and it's the same thing. You have to sit there and you click on play game, and then it adds the session to the party, and the person gets an invite that they have to launch, and then
that's what confuses me.
And then you have to sit there and click in your stick. Then you have to click in your stick from the main screen of Madden to join the game.
That's what confuses me because the thing says say launch, but it says launch, and then it opens up another screen on my Xbox One, and now I'm off of Madden. I don't understand. Is that the right way to do it? I don't know.
I don't know why it opens up another screen. Usually, if you say launch, it just creates the session for the other person, and then you'll get a game.
I say launch, and it opens up the Xbox video screen.
Oh, yeah, that's weird then. Mine doesn't open up that.
I got the stupid Xbox, man. So, all right. Well, I mean, we've got a lot of new features, but we also got a lot of new teams. We got some new owners. So, how about we dive into the divisions this year, and let's get your take on what we have going on. I think we should start off with the AFC East. By the way, I want to point out I am wearing a Jets jersey. It's Darrelle Revis, okay? It's because I don't have any other football jerseys. As you guys know, I have killed my allegiance to NFL teams since I'm pretty much 100% fantasy sports at this point. But I'm wearing this because it was either wear this or wear a daily fantasy shirt. I'm sure nobody wanted to see me wear that.
I am wearing a Cardinals jersey. My boy right there, Larry Fitz.
He won't get traded. Well, we'll see. You never know. It's Cnfl.
Representing for my ownership.
Yeah, I do want to get a Chiefs shirt to be able to wear on the air. Get myself a Jamal Charles shirt. Also want one just because he helped me out so well in fantasy last year, especially when he had that huge 5.
I'll trade him along.
Don't worry. Jamal Charles is this year's Tavon Austin.
We
All
don't
right,
we
so
don't
he's
need
not
more
running
we
it
don't
back.
need any more trapes. We don't need any more trade
No,
rapes. Trapes.
no, only by me. All right, so here we go. The AFC East. We got.
Mizark wins.
Let's talk about it. We have King Mizark as the Bills. We have Spider Nose, a new owner, as the Dolphins. We have A Rosa, who was the 49ers last year, as the Jets, and Remix as the Patriots. You know, I had a chance to play Spider Nose about a week ago. He seems like a very, very solid owner. Been active in the chat. But yeah, I probably have to agree with you. We don't know, he said he's pretty. I don't know if it was him or if it was a Browns owner, Shaq, who said, yeah, I was one of the best men of the league, but one of the best men of the league, the competition might not have been good. Well, we know that King is one of the top players, if not the top player in Cnfl. I mean, you've played Spider. Does he stand a chance in this division? And what about A Rosa and Remix?
I have played Spider. He is 2-0 against me. In all fairness, I have not used my actual team though. He's got a chance. I can't say he doesn't have a chance. They're actually King and Spider, from what I remember playing them. They're actually very similar players, so it'll be interesting to see how they match up against each other, because they both take away exactly the same stuff on defense and things like that. So yeah, I mean, I can't go against King. Worst comes to worst, he'll just pull out some rank game cheese and make sure he takes the win. But Spider's got a playoff shot. He's got a wild card shot. I mean, ballpark prediction 10-6, 11-5, somewhere in there. A Rosa, I have no clue who this guy is. I haven't heard from this guy until I actually see him on the forums or in GroupMe, or that he joined the league. I don't believe that he's in the league. So, this guy needs to pop up somewhere. Everybody keeps saying, oh, he'll show up when Madden comes out. Well, it's like 3 days away. Motherfucker needs to show up. And Remix is an old vet. Remix been around forever. He's one of those guys he's going to give 110%. The record's going to fluctuate between bad and really bad. So
Remix is the type of player that can go 2-14, but he could also surprise you and go 10-6.
I don't know if I've ever seen Remix go 10-6.
I seem to remember him going 10-6 at one point somewhere.
Remix did, though.
He did a DL maybe.
I love Remix, and for all the old fans, guys, they'll remember this. Remix was part of Ovengate. Ovengate was between Remix and I. That was a fun time in fans. But Remix last year, God, I don't remember. He got stuck with Blix and who was it? He got stuck with Blix and Gino last year and got in a bad division. And now he's stuck with Miz and Spider. So, guy can't.
I don't think Remix cares though. Who's in this division. He just wants to play and have fun.
He doesn't. But poor guy can't get in a division where it's just like people who play like him just kind of just don't take it all too seriously and kind of just go out and give each other their best shot.
Mm-hmm. The next division we have here is a very competitive division, and that is the AFC North. You have CGS as the Bengals, J Shaft as the Browns, CGZ Merlin as the Ravens, and Wong as the Steelers. How the hell do you break down this division? Again, we know Wong is probably the top guy in the division, but you just never know, especially considering Wong has Wong is a very busy guy. Doesn't have a lot of time in his hands, probably like he used to back in his heyday. To learn this new game. What do you think about this division?
Yep. I'm going to pick Shaft. Shaft's going to win that division, and pretty much the main reason is, Wong he's played one game, I think he said, on Xbox One. I mean, there's going to be at least a 6-week. I mean, I say CNFL, if we get this thing rolling by this time next week, and we're in week 1. We'll be in week 6 by second week of September, and I don't think 2.5 weeks is enough time for him to adjust. I mean, Wong is the greatest passer in CNFL, hands down, no doubt about it. but the way the defense reacts now, and the way that you actually pay if you make a bad throw because they catch it a heck of a lot more than they ever did on 360. I think it's going to cost him. I think he's going to struggle to begin with. I think he'll turn it around, end of season 1, season 2. But I think Schaff wins the division. I don't know what CGS is going to do. Man can't trade for anybody. So and he's got Andy Dalton, who I don't think is his kind of quarterback at all.
What's his kind of quarterback?
Well, I mean, he's a Cowboys. I mean, it's not that he's not a pocket passer, but he does like a guy that can move a little bit, and he's more of a, he's like a run guy. And yeah, he's got Giovanni and he's got the rookie, but the rookie's a little slow. Giovanni's, not. He likes a bigger kind of trucking back, and Giovanni's more of an agility back. So I don't know if that team fits him well. So it'll be an interesting division. I think one of CGS or Wong will probably get a wild card, but I think Schaff wins the division by a couple games.
Interesting. And I guess that leaves Merlin out in the cold in that division.
Yeah, I mean, I played with Merlin last year in the AFC South. He gives you good games. Merlin's not an easy win at all. The guy plays tough. He plays solid defense. But again, I haven't seen him. He's been busy, and hopefully his time frees up more when Madden comes out. But it's just a wrong division for him. And the Ravens got some talent over there, but I just think with the other 3 guys, I think it's just going to be a struggle, and hopefully he can build a team, and just once he gets time, get into the game, because last year he was tough games. They're fun games, tough games.
Mm-hmm. AFC South. This is an interesting division. Maybe a little more wide open. We have Blitz as the Colts. We have Big Red Lucky as the Jags. We have Beg as the Titans, and Emmett as the Texans. How do you break this one down?
Yeah, Blix is going to have the same Wong problem. He's going to have time constraints. So that I think that's going to put him behind the 8 ball, because I don't think he even has an Xbox One yet, so he hasn't played the game at all. Nobody puts more time in than Beg, though. That man practices his heart out. Emmett puts a lot of time into a couple different leagues, and he's the Texans, I think, in every league, which gives him a distinct advantage over knowing his own team. But the division's going to be won by Big Red Lucky. Big Red Lucky's taking those Jags, winning the division year 1. Everybody's been making fun of the trades. Everybody's been talking just like, I don't know, the first rounder for Cornelius Washington, where if you look at his ratings, that man's a monster besides awareness and play rec. But, I think, Bortles is really good in the game. You got a couple of halfbacks, you got some defense. He's made a lot of, I think, decently improving trades, which is, what you need to do when you have a roster that's the worst in the game, pretty much, or second worst. So I think Big Red Lucky and Emmett, I'm hoping they play late in the season for a game to decide the division, because I think that'd be awesome. But they'll both be there. Emmett could easily just win it too, but I'm going to pick Big Red Lucky. Beg finishes about 8-8, just like Beg always likes to, right about 500.
That's right. But yeah, you're right. Beg does play nonstop. You got to tell you, anybody could get a TV set up in his office to play some Madden. That's pretty hardcore, and that's why he's running this ship, because he's the man. All right, now we got my division. You have Consequences as the Broncos. You have Jimmy as the Chargers, myself as the Chiefs, and Big Greasy as the Raiders. I'm going to tell you, first off, I was very apprehensive about joining a division with Greasy, because that guy always wants to play at 2 a.m. in the morning, and I'm not playing at 2 a.m. in the morning. But all kidding aside, him and his damn press coverage and all that stuff. But you know Jimmy, you've played with Jimmy. Nobody knows Consequences, so I know this is gonna be a tough division to break down. But give me your best shot.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than 2 a.m. games with man press. That's a tough game. Yeah, I know Jimmy. Jimmy definitely, from fans times, he was a 8-8, 9-7, maybe a 10-6 kind of guy. It seemed like he was always right around there. Greasy's has his ups, Greasy's had his downs. He got his favorite teams here last year. I think he was stuck with the Dolphins or something like that, which really wasn't his team. You have a team that fits your style for the first time in, I think, 2 years. You picked a team that actually fits you, and you got in a good division. So you made a smart choice. Consequences is one of the King group. We needed somebody to fill the last spot. He had a guy open. Who knows? He actually has responded to me and grouped me a couple times about trade stuff. So at least he's in the chat and talking.
He showed up and grouped me yesterday too. He said one quick thing, and
yeah.
that was it.
Well, at least here, I like that better than A-Rosa's not there. So I'm going to go ahead and just pick Consequences just because he's got the best team. I mean, where's the hole in the Broncos? Tell me, please. I'd love to see it. I mean, I think you could call a play and put the controller down and be just fine. I think anybody in that division could win it. Jimmy's at a disadvantage just because I think he has the worst team of the division. I guess the Raiders are overall the worst, but I don't know. I hate Philip Rivers. So
it's like Chargers and Raiders are 1A and 1B for worse.
Yeah, I don't like anybody on the Chargers. I know Begg was high on them, but slow receiver, crappy throwing quarterback. I don't like his throw style. Their defense has improved though. At least they got Flowers and stuff like that. But I think the division's open, and obviously we'll have to see how Consequences plays in the first couple of weeks. But anybody can win it if you can get your crap together and learn how to run with Jamal Charles. You'll be just fine.
I will figure it out. I mean, one game I'm not going to panic. I just got so thrown off by the new play calling screen. It boggled my mind. But I'll figure it out, and I'll be running before the season even gets started. All right, we got the NFC East now, which I feel like it's always the same people in this division, and it looks like it's that way again. We have Omar as the Cowboys, we have Distant as the Eagles, we have Aiden as the Giants, and we throw into the mix his return to Cnfl last Don. I mean, it's not. I feel like it's not too difficult to break down this division. I feel like we've seen all this before, but maybe last Don in the mix changes things up. What do you think about this?
Well, I'd like to say Don hopefully doesn't relax now that he's a newly rich man. I hope he actually puts the work in. Don't need him resting on his $400, just chilling there.
Maybe doesn't know what Mike is talking about. He finally paid off his fantasy football commissionership debts to Last Don, which might be part of the reason Last Don's in the league. But we're all happy to have him. Last Don's an awesome guy.
I would easily pick Distant in this division. I mean, he's going to miss 3 games, which I'm going to assume the people that play the computer beat the computer, so he starts 0-3, which,
I mean, you don't know. A new Madden computer is usually tougher to play.
That's true. I mean, I don't know. I'm just going to assume somebody beats the computer. It's the computer. But, so, I mean, starting 0-3 or 0-2 hole, 0-2 wouldn't be so bad, but 0-3 hole kind of sucks. I think Omar's poor little defense over there, if they're anything like real life, God, it's a bad defense. But at least he'll have Sean Lee, which the Cowboys in real life don't. So, Don, though, I mean, I haven't seen Don play forever. I mean, Don used to be solid. He used to be 10-6, 11-5 kind of guy. I know obviously he's got family and stuff like that. I don't know, maybe his kids are older now, they're out of the house, leaving him alone. But I'm going to pick Distant if everything's equal. Distant played with the Eagles last year in CNFL, so I think he knows what that team's made out of. He's played Aiden a couple times. He played Omar a couple times. I think he, will kind of know their play styles. Don will be the wild card, but pretty much anybody besides the man who doesn't trade will win that division.
I'm going to disagree and say Omar, just because even though the Cowboys' defense is not that great, Omar is, to me, an elite defensive player in this league, probably one of the top defensive players in this league, and I think he'll take that division. The NFC North with the Lions team that somehow nobody wanted. Millville as the Lions. We have Grimm Squad as the Bears. We have X as the Packers, and we have Vikings is Swag, your mom's favorite player. This looks like another really, really good competitive division.
Yeah, the Norths are both pretty stacked top to bottom. You're going to have probably a good team miss the playoffs in both of these divisions, or a good owner, or whatever you want to say. But let's see, should I go homer route or head route? We're going to go head. Grum Squad's winning this division. Um, X is going to finish second. Sorry, X. But Swag's going to miss the playoffs. Mealville's going to miss the playoffs. I don't know what Mealville's doing. He's trading away all his potential good young rookies for a bunch of people. I don't know what's happening over there.
Just people.
I mean, I'm assuming the man has a plan. He's been in Cnfl before. I've heard story about nano blitzing with Willis and like 60 sacks in a season and some crazy things going on over there. So I don't know what's happening, but yeah, I think Grem Squad. The trade with Mike Wallace, barring that the Dolphins have the cap room for it to go through, which I think shouldn't be a problem. But you got big Alshon Jeffrey out there. You got Mike Wallace out there, mixed in with his running game, and he's a pretty good user on defense. I think he wins the division. I think he wins it by one game over X probably. Swag and Mealville probably battling for third and fourth. I don't see Swag going better than like 9-7, 8-8, maybe 10-6 possibly. But I think Swag didn't struggle. Haven't played him a couple times. I don't know. He's busy too. He's trying to psychology people or whatever, trying to help them with their problems. But that's no excuse for starting to suck. Swag, you should get your shit together.
You'd be yelling at us right now, Mike. Come on, stop, Mike. All right, so trying to get this finished up here, we have the AFC South. Brock is back with his Bucks. Swen's is with the Falcons. Matt gets his Panthers. And Fiend back with the Saints after he had them a couple of years ago. Talk to me about this division.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a pretty good competitive division. I know Swen's was in the league before, but I don't really remember playing him or really seeing his record. So I don't. But the Falcons are a pretty bad roster, so they're going to need some help just to begin with. I think Brock's got a nice team, and Fiend's got a nice team. Fiend last year actually with the Bengals played really well a couple of seasons. So I think those two will battle it out. Matt Nasty's going to have a learning curve because he hasn't really played on the Xbox One yet. So by season 2, I think Matt Nasty will get his stuff together because when he had the Titans a couple years ago, he was a dominant force too. So Matt Nasty's going to have to get a couple things figured out in terms of the difference between 360 and Xbox One, and then season 2 Panthers will be ready. But I think Fiend with his team talent is better than Barack, but I think now Barack's newly engaged, so who knows? Well,
That guy's been busy, he's engaged.
We're gonna pick Fiend.
No, I got a game, honey. Oh no, you don't got no game. All right. Hang on. Oh boy. Sorry, Barack.
Oh, and hold on. Andy's running the business. Geeklife.com, 2 eyes, geeklifeofficial.com. Go there, get you some shirts.
cheap plug, but a very good plug as well. Give Fiend the division. I'm giving Fiend. I played Fiend last night. He played a tough game. I'm giving Fiend the division.
Yep, I agree.
Plus, he's got Drew Brees. Hopefully, Drew Brees doesn't retire on him. Hopefully,
1 year,
Drew Brees
like he did the 666 last year, one season.
It's so stupid. I mean, they do that again. Give me a break, EA. Another thing, EA.
What I loved is that he retired for a season. That season he was gone, and then he came back in year 3. Like, are you kidding me?
Oh, God. These people, they're not paying attention, I'm telling you. All right, I'll take this last division. I don't need to hear you talk about yourself. All right.
Cardinals win. Cardinals win.
NFC West has, obviously, Mike as the Cardinals, Gus as the 49ers, Shazani as the Rams, and Kobe as the Seahawks. Well, first I'm going to say, all right, I'm going to leave you alone right now because obviously, you're the cream of the crop in that division, especially now if you're getting AJ Green. I don't envy anybody having to try and figure out how to cover AJ Green and Larry Fitzgerald. And I saw Larry Fitzgerald did 925 against me. It was a joke. It was borderline cheese. And it wasn't your fault. It was because Fitzgerald's just cheesy in general. But I think it's going to be interesting. First, you take somebody like Iron Kobe and the Seahawks. You know Iron Kobe, he likes to move around with his quarterback. So he's got a Russell Wilson now, and I think that Kobe's going to be dangerous. He's got that defense, and I think Kobe. This is a good team for Kobe to have. He doesn't trade a lot, and sometimes his trades are a little bit questionable. But I think he can definitely be competitive in that division. I can see him with a second place finish. And you got Gus. Gus, I mentioned Omar as one of the top defensive players in Cnfl. I got to put Gus right up there. That guy can play some D. He's got the 49ers. The 49ers D has taken a little bit of a step back, but still, Gus having that team along with Kaepernick, I think he's going to be very competitive as well. And then you got Shazorny Mack as the Rams, and Shazorny Mack has fun playing games, so he will do Shazorny Mack things the way he can. And then you got Mike, and he's going to win the division. So, what really more is there else to say?
Well, yeah. Quick 3 things on those guys. Gus, I played before when he was the Steelers and I was the Bengals. We actually, I think it was Madden 11. We were in the same division. We had some really good games. So playing Gus, even I think last year I played him once maybe since we were in different conferences. But Gus and I think that's going to be some fun games with his team. Shazorny Mack actually has surprised me so far with his trades. Because usually Shazorny Mack's always on a 3-year plan for like the next 3 years, and he actually has traded for some freaking offensive weapons. I mean, he got Sammy Watkins, he got who's the wide receiver from Texas A&M from Barack?
Evans.
There you go, Evans. I mean, he actually went out and got some offensive firepower. I mean, if he could get rid of Bradford and maybe draft a quarterback in his first draft, do some scouting. That's a dangerous offense over there. And Shazorny Mack's always one of those guys that, he has 5 first-round picks and collects picks, but he's not seeming to do that this year. And I guarantee, I will bet dollars of donuts that Iron Kobe leads the league in broken tackles with Russell Wilson. That motherfucker is going to sit in the pocket, and he's going to quarterback evade every sack that comes his way. And he is going to – I'm going to miss – everybody who plays him is going to miss at least 10 sacks a game because he's going to sit there with that right stick and click and just get out of the pocket with Wilson. That's coming. It's going to piss me off so much, but it's coming, man. That guy is a quarterback evade master.
It's going to be interesting. Well, it's about all the time we have for this episode of CNFL Live TV. I'm excited to get it started. As soon as I get off of here, I'm going to be jumping onto the system to use a couple hours. I think this is. I honestly, Mike, I think this is going to be a great one. I think we got a very good game on our hands, and I really feel like CNFL needed a little bit of rejuvenation, and the new system is definitely going to get that rejuvenation. And I think we're back, and honestly, I think Beg running the show now is the right guy to do it. I ran it for a few years, and and my time has run out. I don't have the same kind of time like I used to. Beg is the right man for this league and is going to run this thing for another 5 years or so. For this system, how long this system is out, 8 years, and bottom line is CNFL will never, ever die. It's like a cockroach. Not a lot of people know about us, but when they get into the league, they don't want to leave it. And, if I took a look at all the owners, King, Remix, Wong, Blix, Beg, Emmett, myself, Greasy, Omar, Aiden, Frem Squad, Swag, Barack, Matt, Fiend, Gus, Shazorny, you, Kobe. All these guys have been around for multiple Maddens, 3, 4, 5 years. These guys have been in CNFL, and even the people who were, maybe it's been out, they've come back in. The names and faces, they don't change. That shows how good the league is when the same people keep on playing year in and year out. And I think that this year is going to be one of the best. So,
Yep, I
CNFL
agree.
Live, yeah,
I am. I'm hoping for 5 seasons and at least 5 seasons. I'd
yeah,
love to play
getting back
6
to
or
our
more,
norm
but
of 5 seasons. That's what we used to always do.
yeah,
Five
we got to get
seasons.
5 seasons. You know, if we can get a six
Mhm.
in there, great. But I
Yeah.
mean, we definitely got to do 5 seasons, and
Hmm.
you know, shit, let's get this thing rolling. I'm hoping we're in week 1 by next Friday. Let's
Yeah.
do this.
League advances every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm not sure what time Beg plans on. I don't know if it plans.
I think he said he's keeping advance the same. He was talking about maybe moving it up, but I think he
All right.
said, I mean, he'll be up. He's usually always up anyway. So
But if not, we have multiple commissioners. So
yep.
I
Should be
go to bed.
midnight.
I go to
Midnight.
bed around midnight, so I could always stay. And even advance if we had to. If Beg's not around. So it'll get done. As for the CNFL Live TV show, it's not going to be on a set schedule. It's pretty much going to be when I feel like doing it. I would love to do it once every 2 weeks, but I found in the past that when I had to put it on some kind of schedule, it became more of a burden to have to do it. Not a lot of people watch it live as it is. We started the show with 6 people live. We have 2 people watching it live right now. Most people do watch the replay, but I knew people do watch it. But I like to do once every couple of weeks. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. And definitely with the future shows, we're going to get a lot more people involved. I just wanted to be Mike and myself this time. Future shows, we'll leave it open to everybody so we can have a big shindig in here. Like I think last year, one of the shows, I think we had 6 guys in here at once,
Yeah,
including
definitely.
Omar going into department stores or grocery stores during the show, which was
Yeah, and even if people can't pop in or can't stay for the entire show, pop in for 5-10 minutes, just
yeah.
throw in, get some interviews or whatever, talk to some people around the league. It's always great. So
Because at the end of the day, CNFL Live TV, CNFL, it's all about the owners. It's not about 1 or 2 people. It's not about 1 or 2 top players. We have 32 people in this league, and every single person is as important as the next. So I'd like to thank everybody for watching. I'd like to thank Michael, if you want to call him Scony Nation 7, if that's your thing. I don't agree, but it's all right. We will see you next time, and get those controllers in hand, and let's have some fun playing Madden. Later, all.